What's up guys, Black Wolf here with my GoPro Hero 4 Black Edition review. So first off, I just want to say that this camera is amazing, and just keep in mind for the review, just like all of this stuff is within this little ass just amazing piece of technology. With the Hero 2 and Hero 3, there wasn't too much difference between the two. There was a lot of upgrades, you know, with you know, the buttons and the settings and da-da-da-da-da. I feel like from the Hero 3 Plus to the Hero 4, it is the biggest jump we've seen in functionality and improvements, especially when it comes to that 4K 30. First off, way more user-friendly. They've reduced the shooting modes down to 3, so it's video, photo, and then multi-shot, which includes burst and both time-lapse modes, which is really great. The settings button on the side is just super clutch. It provides like a really quick way to get in and out of any settings you want, and it also tags your clips while you're recording, which is really cool. This thing shoots in 4K at 30 frames per second, which honestly, when I heard about that, I was just like, okay, but is it really gonna? Yes. I've been using this camera for about a month now, and I've recorded a lot in 4K, and I want to say it performs its best outside, which is kind of what the GoPro is meant for, you know, outside adventure, extreme shit. Inside, you just gotta watch your lighting. Maybe you want to put that spot focusing meter on, but guys, the 4K 30 is just, it looks so good. I was shooting in Colorado earlier this month with it, and it just looks amazing. So total delivery when it comes to the 4K. The battery life is really great as well. One thing I really noticed was it stays alive a lot longer towards the end. So you can have a blinking battery, but that, you know, you don't have to freak out as much as you maybe did in the previous models, which is really handy when it comes to tight shooting schedules or whatever. One thing you need to keep in mind though is that they did change the battery type. I didn't realize that until I bought it. It's a little smaller, but it's way easier to access. They now put the battery port on the bottom, and it just has like this really nice sliding, and you just in and out. The other one, I kept having to fucking like shake it to get it out. It's a pain in the ass. So just keep in mind your Hero 3 batteries and cases won't work on the Hero 4. Those are things you're gonna have to get new. But it's okay. Like I said, the battery is way better, and the cases, they kind of hug the GoPro a little bit more. Another really awesome upgrade is the time-lapse abilities. You still have your same normal day time-lapse at 12 megapixels, but they added a night-lapse mode to where you can kind of customize the amount of time your shutter is open, and it goes up to 30 seconds, I believe, and it is just great. Shot a few night lapses in Colorado, and tried a few different, you know, they have where you can choose your shutter, and then you can also do an auto, and I did both, and they both turned out really great. I was actually probably the most surprised with this function. Usually to get good time lapses, you need a really super fast lens with a DSLR or something better, to where you can really customize, you know, what you want to get, you know, how you want to capture this super starry night. It kind of leads me to ProTune, which is my favorite, just my favorite thing about this camera. You know, it kind of like kicks it up a little professional notch, because it allows you to really get in and customize your settings, you know, from ISO to shutter to white balance. You can even change your color profile. They only have two. It's GoPro and flat, but it's just amazing to be able to really, like, you know, if you know what you want your settings to be, you can go in and set them instead of, you know, having just everything to be auto, which, you know what, for some people having everything auto is great, but for a guy like me, I really like to get in there and just meticulously make everything appropriate for what I'm shooting. So ProTune is the slow-mo is another feature that got a pretty good upgrade. You can't shoot slow-mo in 4K. You can only go up to 30 frames per second, but if you bump it down to 2.7K, which is still great, you can go up to 48 frames per second, which is one of my favorite, you know, FPSs for slow-mo. It just gives it that kiss of a little extra slow. But if you go down to 1080, you can go all the way up to 120 frames per second, which is pretty awesome. But you just got to be aware when you're editing, you know, if the majority of your footage is at 4K, your 1080 slow-mo is going to look a little less nice, but it's still great as far as slow-mo is concerned. Another thing I noticed that was really nice about the Hero 4 is its dynamic range. There's a few shots I got like from inside the car facing out, and a lot of the times, especially with the older GoPros, it would have trouble kind of exposing for both. And I have multiple shots like that, and it totally picked up the outside perfectly and exposed the skin tones inside the car really nicely. So that's a pretty nice thing to see in a camera this small. The sound is also great. Like I was saying earlier, with the cases, the Hero 4 does have new cases, and you have the option to have it fully enclosed, which makes it like totally waterproof, but that will really reduce your sound quality. So you kind of got to be aware of your shooting situation. If you want great sound, then make sure you have that back with the opening, or you could just use the tiny black frame that leaves it completely exposed, but it's not as, you know, tough then. But that's the great thing about GoPro, is they have all these different accessories that you can totally customize for each and every little shot you do, and it's just, I'm fucking loving it. Yeah, I mean, the only downside I have so far, and this kind of comes with any small piece of technology, is it can be a little finicky sometimes. You know, the battery can show full and then it'll go right down to empty. If that happens, just shut it off, take out the battery, put it back in. That seems to have been working for me. You know, that's going to happen, but it definitely doesn't happen very often, which is nice. So yeah, that's my GoPro Hero 4 Black Edition review. They also have a really cool new Silver Edition, which comes with an LCD screen attached, which I think is great, but I also feel like that's going to totally like eat at the battery constantly. So, you know, it's up to you what you want. I definitely think if you're going to go with the GoPro, you got to go with the Black Edition, go with the best. It's only $500 for a little 4K camera. It's amazing. Totally worth it. Like I said, I've been shooting with this camera for about a month now. The majority of that was spent in Colorado, which I have done a recap-ish, cool, artsy, fun, ski, family video for you guys that I will be releasing very soon. So stay in tune for that. Black Wolf, out.